Welcome to Where There's a Wills.
There's a play.
I'm Ian, your Complexity casual gamer.
I'm Stacey. I'm your non-gamer gamer.
And we're here today with another initial impressions of Don't Go In There from Road to Infamy Games, otherwise known as R2i games, from Jeff Chin and Andrew Nerger. Plays 2 to 5 players in 25 to 35 minutes. I'm just going to read the little synopsis here from Board Game Geek. You play as a meddling kid wandering too far into a creepy haunted house. You knew you shouldn't touch anything, but like any protagonist in a horror story, your curiosity got the best of you, and now you've accidentally awoken an evil presence in the house. You'll have to undo the curse to escape with your sanity or forever be haunted. It's a fast, easy to learn game that uses push your luck, set destruction, which we'll look at later. Decide how risky you play as you venture deep into the haunted house. Do you take first choice of the items and risk attracting haunts, or play it safe? Collect the right items and you can dispel some of your curses. So, knowing the background of the game, the theme. I think the theme of this game, and some of the stuff we're going to look at here in a little bit, comes through greatly about going into a haunted house, releasing these curses, and being haunted. So I think the theme of this game, it shines in this game. I think.
I agree. The artistry makes it feel spooky.
It does.
And makes it feel like you're actually like entering into a haunted house. The items, when you think of a haunted house, you think of scary door knockers and you think of spooky potions and things like that. And that's all included. So everything you think of a haunted house and not wanting to go inside that spooky house in your neighborhood, it's all included. So,
scary rooms, scary things.
Mhm.
Yep. I agree completely.
So the components of the game, I'm going to start with the box. That's where most games come from. So this is the Don't Go In There box. It also is the dice tower that you're going to roll your dice in, and we'll show you how that works in just a couple minutes. Then we'll move down here. These are the rooms that you are going to be going in to look for your scary ghosts. Some are attics, hallways, secret passages. They're each two-sided. They're pretty well made. I don't know what kind of paper this is, but it's, it's decent paper.
It's a decent thickness, yeah.
Yeah, decent thickness. So like I said, each one's double-sided. So, and it explains on the cards what that particular room does. You got your glow-in-the-dark dice. So if you have the need to make it spookier and maybe turn the lights down a little bit, roll the dice, that's a bonus. So you got your spooky dice. Got our score tokens over here. Just a couple examples of what they look like. You want to put some of those over there? Just and you don't want to score points, so you don't want to see these.
You don't want to be haunted.
No.
You definitely don't want to be haunted. So there's a couple of the tokens.
So there's a couple of the tokens for scorekeeping. And then you get your nice wooden little Stacy's here. She's wearing her baseball hat and carrying her flashlight.
And why is that one Stacy?
Because it's orange. Anytime there's orange included in a game, that is the color that I get.
I do like that it has a flash that you can see. It's a little hard to see here, but
it's got a little flashlight.
It is holding a flashlight going into the room, and that's kind of key to this game,
yes,
which we'll get into later.
Moving down, we've got our screen. This is each player's going to take their color coordinated with their meeples. And then we have our curse cards over here. This is going to determine what curses you encounter in the rooms that you're coming across. And then your, I call it a Ouija board. I can never.
Planchette.
Planchette.
Your active player marker.
Yes, is included as well.
Yep.
And then the rule book. The rule book sticks with the theme. It's it's kind of chintzy to me personally. But it works. It tells you everything. It's an easy to learn game. It tells you the setup. It tells you how to play it. It tells you the objective of the game, how to haunt a house, and what happens when game ends. And then limited edition comes with this separate page to explain the different limited rooms that come with the limited edition. With the curse cards. And then it explains each curse card And it's got a Ouija. And you know, it is what it is. That's the rule book.
Good quality components all around.
The components are much better than the quality of the rule book, personally. But what do you know?
And then like going back to the theme a little bit, the theme of the rooms is really good. So I really like those. We'll take a look at the rooms a little bit more as we talk about gameplay. So yeah, that is the components. On to the artwork. Do you want to start with curse cards or rooms?
Let's do the curse cards.
Okay.
Because I talked a little bit about that, how, they fit with everything. Like I said, the artwork in this on the curse cards fits with the theme amazingly. I don't know who drew these. But some of them are kind of cute but scary, if that makes sense.
The artist is Rupert Lewis Jones.
Okay, Rupert, you did a good job with drawing all of these. The clown card, I don't ever want to play with that. I hate clowns. That can just stay away.
Let's see if we can get a little bit. We're having some trouble with our light right now. Oh, there we go. That's a little better on the curse cards. It's a little dark right now, and so it's not the best time for filming, but we needed to get this done. So that's a little bit better on those.
So that makes it look a little bit better.
These are fading out. So each one of these, if you can see down here, each one of these has ghost dice that you roll. It tells you how many roll, which we'll talk about later. But these are fading out a little bit because of the green screen a little bit. So there's the skull.
Yeah.
We'll show a couple of these up close. The raven.
And as Ian showing those, the curse is listed down below the picture of what happens when you have those cards available.
There's abilities we'll go over and stuff.
Some of them are good, some of them are not good.
A portrait. Well, if you keep them, they're not good.
Yeah.
If you can't get rid of them, but they will help you.
They will help you in the long run.
So there's just a few of them up close. Here, the one Stacey doesn't like clown mask. That I don't know why. I blame John Wayne Gacy.
Yes, John Wayne Gacy
became the one who was like, "Oh yeah, clowns are creepy."
I watched too many documentaries on him.
But and then you have your art, which we can kind of show a little bit here. So there's the nursery. So you can see here you're walking into the nursery towards this wardrobe. So you're walking in. She's got her flashlight in the attic. You can see you're going up a ladder further in. So each room is themed. So each way you go into it, the hallway, you're walking down this scary hallway. You can see all these ghosts. So you're walking down the hallway. The basement, you can see you're going down the stairs into the basement. So I really like how each one is a little bit different.
And how many of these cards do you get?
There's
get 5?
Three. There's three two-sided ones.
Okay.
The secret passage. See, there's a creepy secret passage. Are you going to take it? And then the library. Oh, this one's going to fade out. This one's got a green floor. So you're going further. So some of them you're going up spaces. Some of them you're going down, into the room. Some of them you're just walking into the room. So, yeah. Even the little player screens, which don't really do a whole lot other than hide your ghost, which we'll talk about later, and give you some reminders at the end of the game. Have nice artwork on the back of the cover. I love the cover. This haunted house. The sides are all. I mean, it looks even from the sides.
It's a little haunted house.
I just noticed the kraken or the octopus. All right, so I think that is all of the artwork. All right, moving on. Moving on to setup. So to set up the game, it is pretty simple. First of all, you take everything out of the box, and then this becomes your dice tray. So that flips up. Everything stores in this, and then this slides back in to become your dice tray. So that is setting. I'll move those out of the way. Yeah. So then that sets up like that. You take your 3 rooms and you put them on whichever side you want to start. Depending on the number of players, you choose a certain number of cursed cards. So with 2 players, you choose 5 curses. We're just going to choose the 5 we've been playing with here. Oh, I do want to show this real quick though. The twins. So there's twins, and this will come into play later, but there's like 2 of each. So this is the only one that really has some different artwork on them. So we'll talk about those in a little bit. So
Okay.
we take the 5, then these ones all go away. Shuffle the 5 curses that you chose. In a 3-player game, you choose 6 curses. In a slide this stuff over so it's a little bit better view. So in a 3-player game, you have 6 cursed card types. In a 4-player game, you have 7. In a 5-player game, you have 8. And then you remove a certain number. So in a 2-player game, you remove 16 of them. So there are 8 cards of each cursed card type. You are going to shuffle them together. You're going to remove a certain number so you don't know which ones are actually in the game, which really comes in the gameplay, which we'll talk about a little bit, because some of them, you need certain numbers of some of them to get rid of your curses. So you set up the tower. You take your 3 room cards, and you take 5 for a 2-player game. You take 5 cursed cards. You shuffle them up. You take 16 out, and those just.
Little 16 we took out.
And then here you deal 1 above. Oh, got rings all together.
Switch those up.
Oh, those did not.
Those
did not.
I shuffled them.
Those did not shuffle very well. That's okay. The shuffle, I mean, we're just showing quick, but. Okay. There we go. That's. And then some of them have a special rule. The library and then the backside of the library both have a special rule, which we'll talk about. So you deal 3 of those out to each room. This one, it says order the cards by ascending value, and then if they're equal, the card drawn first goes up. So I have a 1, a 2, and a 1. So this is going to be 1, 1, 2. This one was drawn first. This one is second. That's because this space here adds an extra ghost, which we'll talk about, and this one takes away one of your ghosts. The back side of this one is kept face down, and we'll talk about that in the gameplay. And then each person gets their 5 meeples. Place the planchette up. Each player gets their player screen, and that's it. And that is the setup. And then you just have the dice ready to roll. That's the setup. So it's a pretty quick and easy setup. Really quickly into the gameplay. During the game, each one of you is going to take your turn going into these houses, into these rooms in this haunted house in turn order. You're pushing your luck. So the further you go, the less or the more likely it is you are going to be haunted by ghosts. If you notice on these cards, here, there are flashlights on them. So the further I go in, I might get first choice of the haunt I want, but the further back I am, the more ghosts I can get rid of. So if I were to go into this room, and I were to go here, and then what happens is as soon as the 3rd meeple gets placed into a room, so just place a meeple somewhere. We'll place. So Stacey has placed the 3rd meeple into this room. What happens is she would then take the dice. She becomes the active player. She would take the number of dice equal to the dice shown on the cards, and she drops them into the dice tray. Okay. However many ghosts there are, that's how many ghosts you get. So I am the first player. This does not have any flashlights. Every flashlight you subtract. So there are 2 ghosts. So if I was in this space, I would subtract 1, 2, or 3. So I am going to get 2 ghosts. If you hand me 2 ghosts, 2 white ghosts there. So I get 2 ghosts in this first spot. Because this one is in the 3rd spot, this guy doesn't get any because there's only 2 in the tray. And this person also does not get any because there's 3 in the tray. Then in order from top down, the person who took the most risk gets the first choice. Will get which one of these cursed cards they want. In the basement, there is a rule that says the player resolving the basement may re-roll the dice once. So Stacey resolved it. If she wanted to re-roll the dice, she could, but she got a pretty good roll for herself. So she doesn't want to, because you don't want these ghosts. Move this up so you can see mine. Okay, so I'm going to look at the cards. Now, each first card has a different rule. So like the tome says, as soon as I get a second tome, I get to dispel all cards of one type, not the tome. So getting one of those early is not that bad, because then later on you could just collect a lot of one thing, and you could hopefully get a second one of those late, and you could discard all of one thing. But these curses are not good. This one is a 4. There's 1 through 4 in each one of them, and there's 2 of each, I believe it is. So this would be a lot of curses. So I'm going to take one of these. The twin, if I get the identical twin, I get to dispel 2 identical twins. So you can see this twin and this twin are identical. Slide that down just a little bit. But this one is not. So if I could get those 2 twins, that would be really good for me. Knowing that my turn is next, because Stacey just did this would actually not be a bad card for me today, because I could get that one next. I could dispel both of those, and then these curses don't come. The jack-o'-lantern scores or activates at the end of the game. So if you have 3 of them, you get to dispel 2 jack-o'-lanterns. So you can see this one's worth 4 points, 1, 1, and 3. So if you could try and get 3 of these, you could get rid of those high ones. So on your turn, you place your meeple somewhere. As soon as someone places the 3rd one, the room activates. They roll the dice. You choose a cursed card. So I'm going to take this cursed card, and you place it face up in front of you. And then I'm second as well, so I could place another one. I see a lot of jack-o'-lanterns out here, so I am going to take the jack-o'-lantern. And Stacey's going to take...
Tome.
Yep. So, the tome. Then you flip the card over. You deal out 3 more curses. So the rule on the hallway is the player resolving the hallway may change 1 die result. So you keep on doing this until all of the cursed cards are gone. As soon as there's not enough cursed cards to fill a room, that room goes away. As soon as the next one is completely gone, the other room goes away until you go through all your curses. So you're going to go through all your cursed cards. Now, like I said before, you don't know exactly which curses are in here. So even though there's 2 mirrors up here, and the mirror, you have to take a ghost, which is not good. And then if you get 3 mirrors, you get to dispel 3 mirrors. The problem is you don't know if there's a 3rd mirror anywhere in this deck. They could have all been taken out. So this is also the push your luck. You have 2 push your luck elements. How far into the room you're going to go, and also which cards are you going to take in hopes that you can get more things. The ring here, as soon as you get 4 rings, you get to dispel 4 rings. But if all 8 rings aren't in there, it could be tough for you to get them all. So to review on your turn. On your turn, you place your meeple. You go back and forth placing your meeples. As soon as someone places the 3rd one, you drop the dice down the dice tower, depending on the number of dice that are in the corner of the cursed cards. And then you resolve the effects. The number of ghosts get subtracted, the flashlight subtracted, the number. So the further out you are, you can subtract more because you didn't take as big of a risk. Then you resolve each one of these from the furthest person into the room to the furthest person out. The game ends when all of the curses have been taken, and then you go to scoring. So you score based on the number of curses you have, and then whoever has the most ghosts, whoever has the most ghosts in their thing scores 1 curse for every 2 ghosts. The other person does not, or the other people do not. So there is how to play. Don't go in there. Replayability in this one. What do you think?
Because there's so many of the cursed cards, I think that the replayability is pretty high, because you get to choose the different curse cards that you're playing with. I do wish, the one thing for the replayability that I do wish is that they did have more room cards that you could choose from.
I agree.
They gave you 3 that are 2-sided. I wish that they had given you maybe even 5 that you could play with, that you could choose, instead of playing with the same 3 over and over. But other than that, because of the curse cards being so plentiful, there's a lot of replayability that you can do with it.
I agree completely. The curse cards make this game replayable. The other part that makes it replayable is the fact that you're taking some of the curse cards out. Like so, even if you play with the same five curse cards, like we played a couple games with the same five just to get a feel of the game. We didn't want to have to learn new curses every time, but you're taking 16 different ones out, so you don't know which ones are actually in here. You don't know how many rings are in there. You don't know how many tomes. You don't know which twin. With the twin, you don't know which twin is in it. You don't know if that twin is still in there. You don't know how many mirrors in there. You don't know how many of anything in there. So yes, I agree that it makes this game replayable. I also completely agree that I wish there was more rooms. Like I said, two more, and then you choose 3. I think that would make more like I do find it a little interesting that they only have the 3 rooms and or the 3 room cards and that's it. Like even if you added one, like and you choose 3 of them, that makes it just that much more replayable.
Yep.
So the rooms are gonna get pretty like it's the same thing over and over. I will say though we have a bad time of going too fast and not necessarily paying attention to the extra effects in some of the rooms. But I agree. I think it would just notch up just that little bit. If you just 2 more room cards, that's 4 more room. I mean, that's
Maybe they'll come out with some of
you
them.
you choose 3. You choose 3 each game, and that's that right there would make it even more replayable. Is you just choose 3 of the 5. But the number of curse cards, what do we say? 17 total curse cards with the limited edition. I mean, that right there, we're only choosing 5 of those each time. So many different varieties of combinations you can have. But yeah, I think this game is going to be very replayable. Would be a little bit just that little bit more replayable if you just had a couple new room cards. But yeah, this one's going to be yeah, very good. Final thoughts.
At first I hated this game because I was very tired when you were reading me the rules, and I only caught maybe a quarter
Half
of
of
them.
them.
I didn't even say a half
No.
of them. I would say a quarter of them, if that. So when we did start playing, I was extremely lost. I had no clue what I was doing. And I like to learn and play at the same time type of person. So once I got the rules down, I found out that I was way overthinking everything, which isn't usually my style. But because I was tired,
Yeah.
it hit me. One of my favorite things about this is the box.
Yeah.
I do love this
Oh.
box, and that's why I was. Whoops. The box is.
I'll go back down small.
Oh, okay.
There you go. We'll go back to the table.
Yeah. So, you open it up, and this is what you got.
And then that
So
flips. Yeah, it's just
catch the
cover it.
dice so that we had a couple fly out at
They
us.
came flying out and they ramped. I mean, this ramp I think is supposed to catch them, but we had some come
that's
flying
all
out
right.
and just ramp right off it.
But this is a really cool box. It really does define what the game is about.
Yeah. Oh,
So
turn it around. We haven't shown the side of it. It looks like you're going into a haunted house. You can actually see the steps.
yeah.
So you can actually see the steps
You
going
see
into the
in
haunted
there.
house. So
So
yeah.
the box kind of makes it for me because I'm one of those people that if I like the box, I'll play the game. If I don't like the box, I won't play the game. Um, Overall, I think this is a game that we will bring out maybe in Halloween. I'm not sure this is a game that I would want. Hey, what game do you want to play tonight? Oh, let's play Don't Go In There. I'm not sure if I'm that person that's gonna just want to play it on a whim. I don't know.
I agree. I mean, it's a good game.
Yeah.
I do enjoy it. I do think that the 2-player version is going to be very tough for the person who has the most ghosts to not lose. Because only one person is getting it, and then the other person, like, if you have a lot of ghosts, you're adding points. So you really have to then kind of plan, like, oh, I better make sure that my curses on here are really low. I'm pointing to the table like we're still at the table. So you do need to make sure your curse points. We were playing around with a 3rd-player variant with rolling a dice and basically they're blocking spaces and just taking cards. And I think that's going to kind of work for us a little bit. They're just taking random cards and it kind of goes against you as well. Like, oh, now that card's gone randomly. So it does, they take a spot in the board. So I think that might be kind of how we play. We were just rolling dice and putting them in a spot. So I thought that worked pretty well. But I do think that the fact that in the two-player game, if someone gets a lot of ghosts, it's gonna be relatively hard to win the game. Like we had one where Stacey had a ton of ghosts and it was close, and then she added all these points. And then we had a game where we were tied. Well, the problem is she had more ghosts, so she lost. So then that's the tiebreakers, whoever has the least ghosts. If you know Road to Infamy, you know that stuff like this is like kind of what they're known for. Canvas with the transparent cards. Globe trotting with the globes that you actually write on with dry erase marker. Fromage with their Lazy Susan. So this is right up there with their uniqueness of gameplay. I like this game. I think it's a very interesting push your luck in a couple different ways. How far are you going into the room? Like, I really want that card, but man, I do not want to get too many more ghosts. But I really need that card because it's a low numbered card in the value I need or the thing I need. So I need that set of cards. So I do like that. Yeah, so I think that, and then the push your luck with, okay, am I going to take this cursed card, hoping that I can make that complete set, knowing that if I don't make that complete set, I'm going to have a lot of points at the end of the game, possibly. So I like this one. I agree with Stacey as well. I think this will be one that comes out in Halloween season because that'll be kind of when we want to play it. We've learned in the last 6 months, even last year, last 6 months, that push your luck games are really something we really enjoy. And this is one that I think we're going to enjoy. But I agree. I think this is going to be one that, hey, you know what? Let's get a push your luck game out and let's go play Don't Go In There. It plays very quickly, so this could be a weeknight game like in October and stuff during the Halloween season when we're trying to play some Halloween themed games or something, even if it's not on our wall. And we're
or
like,
maybe
hey,
a push your luck month.
oh, push your luck month, would be in there. But I agree. This is a good one. I like this one. I don't think it'll be one that, like you said, that we're like, oh, don't go out there. But in the season, I know a lot of people have games they play just during certain seasons. I can see this one getting a lot of gameplay in October because it is a very quick setup and very quick gameplay. I think we played them in like 20 minutes with 2 players. So you can play it at weeknight after you've been working. So, yeah. So that is Don't Go In There by Road to Infamy. If you have any other games that you think are similar to this, or any other push your luck games that you think we might like, or games similar to this theme that you think we might like, please drop us a comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Once again, this has been Where There's a Wills.
There's a play.
I'm Ian.
I'm Stacey.
And we'll see you next time
At the table.